Hi everyone, welcome to Acupressure Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. I'm Alexa Hulsey from Encircle Acupuncture in Nashville, and today we're going to do some acupressure. We're going to feel a whole lot better afterwards, so thanks for joining us. So we are doing our 5-part series on acupressure for the emotions. And in traditional Chinese medicine, we look at the emotions in an interesting context. There are 5 emotions in traditional Chinese medicine, and we look at them as a cause of disease and also connected with physical symptoms as well. So this series is going to be talking about the emotions in traditional Chinese medicine, how they're connected with our physical bodies, what we can learn from the emotions, and how we can keep those emotions in balance so that they don't cause more problems for us. So thanks for joining us. So today's emotion is fear. So we're going to be talking about fear, which is related to the kidneys in traditional Chinese medicine and the water element. So in this demonstration today, I'll be showing you some points on the kidney channel, and we'll be talking about fear and how that's related to the kidneys in traditional Chinese medicine. If you're joining us live today in Nashville, we are just 5 days ago, we had a bombing in downtown Nashville on Christmas morning. That was a big shock and a big fright to a lot of people here. So if you're still feeling the effects of that, then this will be a good session for you today. It's going to help to calm those fears and just help you to feel a little more in balance. So during this series about the emotions and traditional Chinese medicine, each week I'm going to show you one general point for any kind of emotional balance, and then I'm going to show you some specific points for the emotion that we're working on. So by the end of this series, you're going to know lots of points for balancing the emotions, and today we'll be talking specifically about fear. So let's start by just doing some grounding exercises and getting ready for our acupressure session. So we'll start out, just take a comfortable seat, feet on the floor, just nice neutral spine, and just breathe comfortably for a few breaths. You can breathe deeply if you like, or you don't have to pay too much attention to your breathing. Just breathe comfortably. You can close your eyes if you like, or you can leave them open. I'm going to close my eyes for a couple of breaths. And just allow everything to slow down for a minute. Tune out everything, even that barking dog in the background. And just check in with yourself and see how you're feeling. Is your body trying to tell you anything today? Is it sending you any signals? Are you feeling muscle tension anywhere? Are you feeling hot or cold or hungry? Just see how you're feeling. And then we're going to check back in at the end of the session and see if anything has changed. All right, so now we're going to do a gathering exercise to gather in some qi from our surroundings, and then we're going to direct that qi during our acupressure session. So for the gathering exercise, you can stay seated if you like, or you can stand up. I'm going to stand up, but do whatever's comfortable for you. And you want your feet planted on the floor about hip width apart. And if you're standing, a little bend in your knees. We don't want any locked knees. And for a few breaths, I want you to inhale and raise your arms overhead, palms up. And then you're going to exhale and direct your palms downward and bring your palms to rest on your lower abdomen. So let's do that a few times. Inhale and exhale. While you're inhaling, you want to gather in some qi from your surroundings. There's qi everywhere, and there's lots of it, plenty for everyone, so take as much as you need. Imagine just scooping that up and bringing that in to your lower abdomen. Just bringing that abundance into your body. so that your body can use it. One more breath. And exhale. All right. And now all that chi we've just gathered, you want to rub your hands together vigorously and direct that chi out to your fingertips. I'm going to get my seat back here. All right. Your hands start to feel nice and warm. That chi that we gathered is now going to our hands and our fingertips, so we can use that to have some good moving action during our acupressure session. All right, so let's get started with some acupressure. Today we're talking about fear, and fear is related to the kidneys in traditional Chinese medicine. Emotions are a normal part of life, so this is not about suppressing the emotions. These are just some tools to help us manage our emotions so they don't control us, and so that they don't cause physical problems too. Is keeping our emotions in balance and learning from the emotions instead of letting them dominate our lives. Okay, so the first point I'm going to show you is a point that can be used for any kind of emotional imbalances. It's a wonderful point on the ear. So let me get my ear up close to the camera. It's a point right here. This part of the ear is called the triangular fossa. So you have your ear, the helix of the ear is this outside curve, and then the antihelix is this inside curve, and then it splits off into two branches right here. And then right here in the middle is the triangular fossa. I'll show you on my other ear, right here. And in the triangular fossa, sort of in the bottom half and towards where the antihelix splits in two, that's a point called ear shenmen. Now, if you're not exactly sure where to find it, you can just use the pad of your index finger. That's pretty much going to take up the whole triangular fossa, so you're going to get that point and probably a couple others too, which is fine. Or you can take your fingernail and just press around in this area of the triangular fossa and feel for a tender spot. There it is on me. Feels pretty tender. I like to use the fingernail because it provides some really direct pressure to that point. So if it feels tender, apply pressure so that you feel it, but don't hurt yourself, okay? This is not a no pain, no gain situation. So if it's too uncomfortable, back off the pressure a little bit. And just have some pressure there, take some breaths. You can even like rub it in tiny little circles. Or like I said, you can just use the pad of your finger and get that whole triangular fossa area. That works too. So ear shenmen, this point on the ear, is a great point for any type of emotional imbalance. We use it a lot in the clinic for anxiety and difficulty sleeping because it helps to just calm you down. It's also good for depression. It's good for stress. We use this point a lot. It just has a really nice calming effect. Another technique that you can use for this point on the ear shenmen, or any ear points, is a technique called ear seeds. And these are actual little seeds stuck to a piece of tape. Of course, I don't have any with me today, or I would show you. But you can stick the ear seed onto that point, and it'll stay on there for a few days, and it'll provide some continuous stimulation. And you can even give it a little squeeze from time to time to continue to stimulate it. So if you're interested in ear seeds, we have them at the clinic, or check out our affiliate link in our bio, and I'll also post a link on YouTube. But ear seeds are a lot of fun because it's just kind of giving yourself some continuous acupressure. Now, another reason why I like this ear shenmen point for fear specifically is because, like I said, fear is related to the kidneys, and each of the organs in traditional Chinese medicine has a related sensory orifice, and so the ears are the sensory orifice related to the kidneys. So when you're massaging your ears and providing some pressure there, that's giving even a little extra boost to the kidneys, even if you're not working on the kidney point on the ears. Just by paying attention to your ears, you are sending some energy towards your kidneys. And in fact, a great just all over acupressure treatment is just to massage your ears and if you don't have a lot of time, you've got 1 minute, spend 1 minute massaging all over your ears. And that's like a full body acupressure treatment. because look how red my ears are. When you apply this pressure, your skin's going to change color. Maybe it gets darker, maybe it gets red like mine. That's a sign that your chi is flowing. But yeah, the ears are a microsystem of the whole body. So we can treat any part of the body with the ears. So if you just massage your ears for a little while, it's going to treat everything. It feels great. All right, so that's ear shenmen. And again, this point can be used for any type of emotional imbalance, but it's really great for fear and anxiety. Okay, so next point is going to be some points on the chest. So the kidney channel begins on the sole of the foot and rises up through the legs, the abdomen, and up to the chest, and it ends on the chest just below the collarbone here. So there is a group of kidney points on the chest they are individual points, and collectively they're sometimes referred to as the kidney shoe points. And they are located in the intercostal spaces. So these are the spaces between your ribs. So you can start kind of here on your breastbone, on your sternum, and just kind of feel out and feel for those spaces in between your ribs. And your fingers are kind of about the width of a finger. So your fingers are going to naturally fall into these spaces between your ribs, these intercostal spaces. And you have several channels on the chest. So you have the kidney, we have the Ren channel here in the center. You have the kidney channel. You have the stomach channel. You have the spleen channel. You have the lung channel. The kidney channel is closest to the sternum. So find your sternum or your breastbone here and just palpate outward a little bit, and really where you can first feel the spaces between your rib cage, between your ribs next to the sternum. That's where the kidney channel is. So it's not out here, it's pretty close to the sternum. And then just feel for tender spots. So some of these spots between the ribs you're going to feel more than others. And if you find a spot that's tender, then spend a little time massaging it. You can just get your fingers and get all of them at once if you like. That works too. You can just apply some direct pressure, or you can rub in circles. So these points on the kidneys, I like these points for fear because fear often manifests in the chest. When you're feeling afraid, what happens? Your heart starts to pound. Your breathing gets shallow. Your chest tightens up. You're trying to protect all of this. All of this gets tight. And so these points, these kidney shoe points, help to relieve those physical symptoms. Because when you're feeling those physical symptoms, then your anxiety increases. So not only are you feeling fear, but then you're feeling these physical symptoms of maybe chest pain and tightness and rapid heartbeat. And that causes you to feel even more fear. So it becomes a cycle. These points help to disperse chi in your chest so that your breathing stabilizes, your heartbeat stabilizes. You don't feel that tightness and pain in your chest. You can breathe deeper. So really great points, especially if you're just feeling really fearful in the moment. Palpate those points, find the tender ones, massage, take some breaths. Really helps you to calm down and relieve those physical symptoms. If you're familiar with EFT, that's a tapping technique. Sometimes these points are utilized in EFT. This is not a video demonstration about EFT, but these points are utilized. It's the same kind of concept. These are also good points for grief, and grief is related to lungs and breathing in traditional Chinese medicine. So good points for fear or for grief. I'm already feel breathing better after palpating these points and massaging, and I didn't really know that I was having trouble breathing. But I feel like my breathing is already clearer after massaging these points. So don't worry too much about getting on the exact point. Just find what's tender for you, what's sensitive, what kind of feedback is your body giving you, and then listen to it. All right, so those are the kidney shoe points on the chest. Now we're going to do some kidney points on our feet. So first of all is kidney 3. Let me move my camera. Kidney 3 is located on the ankle here. Okay, so, oh, my light is not very good. So kidney 3, the kidney channel starts on the bottom of the foot and comes up the medial surface of the foot. Let me see if I can get better light. Okay, so to locate kidney 3, you're gonna find your medial malleolus here, which is your big ankle bone. And it is between the medial malleolus and the Achilles tendon. So it's right here between the ankle bone and the Achilles tendon, right there. I like to just press that point with my thumb and rub it in circles. So that's kidney 3. And kidney 3 is really the strongest point on the body for strengthening and tonifying the kidneys. So it's a really important point. It really helps to fortify the kidneys. So let's talk about the kidneys for a minute and why the kidneys are so important. I'm going to show you kidney 3 on my other ankle too, just so you can see it on both sides. So here's the medial side of your foot, so the inside. Here's your medial malleolus, Achilles tendon, and right in between there is kidney 3. I think that acupressure on this point feels great. I do acupressure on myself here a lot. It just is very relaxing to me and has a nice calming effect because it's helping with that fear associated with the kidneys. So let's talk about the kidneys. The kidneys in traditional Chinese medicine are really the root of our constitutional strength. And they are responsible for the natural unfolding of the life cycle. So they're responsible for birth, for growth, fertility, reproduction, aging, death. All of that is related to the kidneys. And the kidneys are the storehouse of what we call Jing, and that translates as pre-heaven essence. So our Jing is what we come into the world with. It's our genetic material. It's what gets passed down to us from our ancestors, and it's considered one of the 3 treasures in traditional Chinese medicine. Jing cannot be replaced. So once it's gone, it's gone. So in our day-to-day life, we want to not draw upon our reserves of Jing and really get the energy for our day-to-day life from the food that we eat and from the air that we breathe. And then our Jing is there in reserve if we need it. And again, that's really the basis of our constitutional strength. It's what gets passed down to us from our ancestors. It's really just who we are at our essence, at our core. And so in this way, Jing really contains what is our higher purpose and what is our destiny. It really contains our purpose for coming into this world. So what does this have to do with fear? I'll talk about that in a second, but I want to show you some more points on the kidney channel around the ankle. Kidney 3 is really important. That's the strongest one to tonify the kidneys, but then there are some other kidney points around kidney 3 that you can also work on. So let me show you those as well. So like I said, the kidney channel begins here on the bottom of the foot, and it comes up the inside of the foot. Here's kidney 3. And then the kidney channel does a little loop-de-loo around the ankle, and then it continues on up the leg. So we have several kidney points all in close proximity. We have kidney 3 here, kidney 4, kidney 5, kidney 6, and then going on up to kidney 7. So what you can do, don't worry too much about exactly where the points are and what each point is and what it does. Just feel around your ankle and find a tender spot. There's a tender spot for me. So this spot here, kidney 6, is below the medial malleolus. It's a good spot for clearing heat. So I probably have a little heat that I need to clear. I'm going to show you on my other foot as well. So sorry about the lighting. I don't know if you can see, but here's kidney 3, and then there are other kidney points that just go in a loop behind and below your ankle. So feel around for some tender spots. And when you find a tender spot, spend some time massaging it. Each of those different kidney points kind of has a different flavor. So they're all going to fortify and strengthen the kidneys, but they're going to do it kind of in a different way. So kidney 6, the one that was tender on me, that's more heat clearing. You've got others that just tonify the kidneys in different ways, but they're all important points. If you find a tender one, just spend some time massaging it. Okay, so we were talking about Jing and the essence, and what does this have to do with fear? So with fear being related to the kidneys, any type of fear can have an effect of depleting the kidneys, especially if it's prolonged fear or sudden shock or fright. Now, just normal fear that we go through in our day-to-day life, everyone has that. And so that's not going to be damaging long term. But if you're experiencing fear over a really long amount of time, or if you have a sudden shock or fright, that can be depleting to the kidneys, and it can deplete the Jing as well. At the same time, excessive fear, someone who's excessively fearful or scares easily, that can be a sign that that person has weak kidney energy, or that their Jing has been depleted. So fear can be a cause of symptoms, but it also can be a symptom of a deeper imbalance. So fear kind of works in both ways there. But it's ultimately tied to our Jing. And again, our Jing is our ancestral inheritance. It's our genetic material, and it's really why we came into this world. So our Jing is tied to our destiny and our higher purpose. And therefore, fear is also intimately related to our highest purpose, which is pretty interesting when you think about it, because a lot of us, we don't always think of fear in that way. So the kidneys are also connected to our will. And when we tonify the kidneys and we work to strengthen the kidneys, we're also fortifying our willpower. And this is important because when we fortify the will, then that gives us the strength to work through our fears and to really work towards our highest purpose and work towards fulfilling what our ancestors sent us here to do. So it's a pretty interesting way to look at the will and at fear. So again, to review some of the points we talked about today, we have ear shenmen here on the triangular fossa on the ears. Just dig in there with your fingernail. We've got the kidney shu points on the chest here in the intercostal spaces next to the sternum. And then looking down at the ankle, we have kidney 3 here between the malleolus and the Achilles tendon. That's kidney 3. And then we have some other kidney points all below there as well, below kidney 3 and then below the ankle bone. Just feel for what's tender and spend some time massaging that. And again, the point of using acupressure to balance the emotions is not to get rid of emotions. We can't do that. Emotions are part of our life. And so we're not trying to banish fear or any other emotion from our life. But it's important to pay attention to it. And with fear especially, there's 2 reasons why it's important to pay attention to fear. One is that fear can warn us of danger. And so fear is a gift in that way. But conversely, fear can also point us in the right direction because it is tied to our Jing and our kidney essence and what we were born with. So when we pay attention to fear, it can send us a message that of what we need to follow. And if we fortify our will, then that gives us the strength to face those fears and work through those fears and be on the path to what we're really meant to do in this world and achieve our highest purpose. So fear is a pretty interesting emotion in traditional Chinese medicine. So now that we've spent some time doing some acupressure, let's check it back in with our bodies and see how we're feeling. So just take a comfortable seat again, feet on the floor, and take a few breaths and see how you're feeling. I'm going to close my eyes. You can too, or you don't have to. And just check in and see if you feel any different after you're spending some time with the kidney channel today. For me, I feel like my breathing is deeper and clearer. And I can also really feel some energy moving around the ankles where we were massaging those kidney points. I feel a lot of movement happening in there. All right. Well, that is it for the emotions and traditional Chinese medicine, talking about fear and the kidneys. Thank you so much for joining us today. If you have any questions or suggestions, we would love to hear them. Just let us know in the comments. Thanks for joining us, and we will see you again soon. Bye.